Okay, welcome to this afternoon's work session. First order of business is to see if any of the commissioners would like to discuss any preliminary items for the next BLC meeting.
Yes, not necessarily to discuss it, but I did forward over to you all, and I believe they were expecting you on a call today regarding.
Yeah, I had a conflict.
Okay, now I'm just mentioning it to you so y'all won't think about stuff. The point is that we discussed the putting in for a grant for the overhaul of 1941, and all the other cities were on the call as well. And we just need to add that to the agenda so that the board can take a look at what's expected, and then so that we can approve or disapprove for them to move forward with the grant, because they got 28 days to get it in.
Yeah.
And that is a LCI grant.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. That is a LCI grant through ARC, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. All right, here no other discussion items on preliminary items. We're going to our work session items. Comcast Rise investment grants.
Time inventory management. How are y'all doing?
Hey, good to see you.
Good, good. We have the slides and everything. All right. Well, good. Let's jump right into it.
Please, just state your name for us and let's keep it moving.
I'm Andy Mackey with Comcast. Good to see y'all.
Good to see you, Andy.
Hope you're all doing well this evening. I'll get this thing moving along here. All right. So it's been a while since I've had a chance to address the board, and there's certainly been a lot happening over these past couple of years for all of us. So we just wanted to give you a little bit of update. First, from a network standpoint, have a map here on your screen of our service footprint. A couple things I want to point out. First, we're providing gigabit service, internet service for all residents, regardless of where they happen to be within the county. For businesses, we'll offer up to 100 gigabit service over fiber, or smaller service offerings for smaller businesses. We are in the midst of a network upgrade. We're seeing more and more applications and more demand on the upstream side of the network as people upload things. We're all on Teams calls, and so that is a multi-million-dollar investment that we're making across our footprint, across the country. And Clayton County is first in line. In fact, we started that process here in December, and that will continue on for the next 2 years. At the end of that, that's part of our path to what we're calling 10G. So we talk about 5G and 2G and 1G. That's our path to 10G residential services. So this is just one step along the way, and customers will immediately be able to get up to 300 megabits upstream and even more should they need it. Additionally, we are driving investment into the community, and all that does translate into tax dollars for Clayton County, about $6.3 million over the past year, $1.8 million in franchise fees every year for use of your rights-of-way. So a little return on your investment there. And then most recently, we have invested in the old post office and converted that into a tech site. And we have Jamichael Eatman here. Jamichael is our manager of technical operations. He's been with the company for 22 years. He oversees a team of 45 techs, is that right? 52. Shortchanged him a little bit. So we've got 52 technicians there that oversee. They take care of customers in the homes, and then we have another about 30 technicians that take care of the network. And so they work in tandem really to make sure the customer experience is in line. And Jamichael could tell you that is what he lives and dies by, is every day, what is the customer experience? And that we measure ourselves based on the Net Promoter Score. How do you feel about your experience? Would you recommend Comcast to your family and friends? 9s or 8s are promoters. 9s or 10s are promoters. 6 or 7s or 8s are neutrals, and 1 through 6 we call them detractors. And you just take your promoters less your detractors, and that's your net score. And I will say we started that measurement about 5 years ago. We were -14. We were just trying to get to 0. and now we are well above 20, and Jamichael's team is leading the pack. They are setting the pace. So Clayton really is leading the way in a lot of things, and certainly customer experience is part of that. Another part of the customer experience are the services we're offering in the home. We're continuing to innovate in the way that we deliver services. When I started with the company 22 years ago, it was a race to how many HD channels did you offer, and we were competing against the big satellite companies. Internet was a little side gig that really nobody ever talked about. And now we have more data customers and we do video customers, and we are adjusting not just to deliver more speed, but also to help people manage their speed with our Xfi app, so you can see who might be using your Wi-Fi. If somebody's parked outside and glomming on to your internet, you could do that. If you're worried about your kids, like mine are, continuing to miss their bedtime and on that phone, doing whatever with their friends, texting and whatnot, you can shut it down. So you have those ability to not just have the speed in your home, but control the speed in your home. We also think that it's critically important to make sure everybody has access to the internet. I mean, I don't even think you can apply for a job today if you don't have access to the internet, much less get access to government services, education, or what have you. And so for almost 11 years now, we have been on a journey to help get everyone connected. The Internet Essentials has been the flagship program in which we do that. It's a three-prong approach based on study, low-cost service, low-cost access to equipment, and digital literacy training. So it's a three-legged stool to really help ensure people are getting connected. And so we have connected over 10 million individuals across the country over the past 10 years, about 20,000 of them right here in Clayton County, most of them for the first time. So we're building on that commitment now, and we have a renewed commitment, a $1 billion pledge. We're calling it Project UP, and UP stands for Unlimited Possibilities, and it's a continuation of not just investing in that connectivity, but doubling down on the digital literacy training, and what does that look like. So we've done a lot of work for seniors, helping them figure out how to get on the internet and use social media to connect with their elected officials or their friends and family or what have you. So that's definitely good. But it's also about job skill training and how do you get the certifications that you need in order to be more employable in this digital age that we're in. And so what does that look like? It's a continuation of Internet Essentials, but it's also, in this 11-year journey, now we finally have the federal government that's a real partner. So first, with the emergency broadband benefit, which was a $50 voucher that they could apply to the cost of their internet service, to now that has migrated to a longer-term program that we call it the ACP, but it stands for the Affordable Connectivity Program. So a $30 voucher for your internet service. And with Internet Essentials being $9.95, you can have free internet. And actually now we're rolling out a program where you can get both your landline internet as well as your cellular service all at that low-cost price, so you can have it covered under that benefit. But if you need more internet at your house, you can still leverage that subsidy to get a $30 credit against whatever you subscribe to, and that's all income-based. The threshold is 200% of the federal poverty level. So I think that translates to about $50,000 a year in annual income, gets you to the point of qualifying for that ACP. We also have launched, and right here in Clayton County is an example of something that we call lift zones. And think about those as kind of digital learning hubs. And so we partnered with literally over 1,000 community partners across the country to set up computer labs where people can have safe access and get a suite of digital literacy training based on whatever that community need is. So the lift zone here is at your brand new community center. We'll partner up with the Boys and Girls Club to support their delivery of digital job skill trainings through the My.Future program, but certainly can open that up to other members of the county. And it really is something that you just think about what the opportunities are and what the needs are, and we certainly want to partner with you to continue to bring that to bear. So I know you have a lot of, one other thing that I did want to mention is we're also investing in businesses as a result of the pandemic. What we have seen is that minority-owned businesses have been disproportionately impacted by the pandemic, by far. Mm-hmm. And so as part of our assessment of how we can really lean in to the issue of racial inequality, we've launched a multi-step program, but one of those is to support those small businesses. It's called RISE. Mm-hmm. And we are now in our 5th cohort of awardees where small businesses can apply for micro grants either for marketing support or for technology support, which again, data shows those are 2 big issues that small businesses have. Either, hey, how do I market my business? Or B, I need some help with the technology, either on the equipment side or on how do I use the technology. And so they apply for the grants. We've had 27 businesses in Clayton County that have already been awarded RISE grants, either those micro grants, or Atlanta was chosen to also have 100 businesses get a $10,000 grant check. And so 27 businesses so far have won. We will continue that program through at least the 3rd quarter of 2022. So it's a rolling quarterly application and award process. So we'd be happy to partner with you as you get the word out to your constituents about resources that they can bring to bear in their community. So with that, I know you have a lot on your agenda, so I don't want to take up too much time, but I'd be happy to entertain any questions you might have.
Any questions, board members?
Yes,
Amber?
if you go back to the map.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, what do those little, the little white areas, little bare areas?
I asked the same question when I saw that map. So thank you. So in the northwest corner there, that's the airport. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of them is vacant land. It's either undeveloped. I think that little strip there kind of in the middle might be kind of some marshland near a creek bed or something. But that is, all of that is undeveloped. So those aren't homes that are sitting there without broadband. That's vacant land, hopefully to be developed one day, and we'll be ready to go there as well.
It looks like there's some lakes involved in that. A couple of our reservoirs is included. Questions?
Yes.
Commissioner?
I just want to comment that, Andy, you have truly been an amazing partner of Clayton County for a long time, and we really appreciate all of your efforts and your patience in getting to that ribbon cutting, because we are long overdue for it, and so glad to see that we were able to work through getting you in that old post office over there. It's good to be able to see those buildings being put to use in a good way. But with that being stated, I want to know what can we do specifically as a board to help promote more of what Comcast is doing in our community, because as you said, Atlanta already supported with 100 of those grants. What can we do to really shine a light on the 27 and get even more people involved in your RISE program?
I think probably the first thing that comes to mind is you all have outreach to your constituents. So we can support with a little article or whatnot to help get the word out. The website, we can just call it out right here to anybody that might be watching, is ComcastRise.com. So the application is there. And if you'd like us to come to any of your community meetings, we'd be happy to come and share anything on the digital literacy side, on the support for business side, or all of the above. We'll show up, just give us an invite, and we'll be there.
Yeah, awesome. For the sake of efficiency and effectiveness, I believe that Carol's here. She's over our division that allows for people to come in and learn how they can do business with the county. I really would like to connect you two together with the Water Authority because they have those small business workshops, and it would be great to have this as a portion of it. Maybe y'all can leave. You can leave out of that Webb Road area to come and see some of us over here too.
We'll absolutely do that. Thank you.
And I do have one more thing that I think I need to definitely commend you on. I won't say the other company's name, but as commissioners, often we get complaints about things being done a certain way. But you all have been extremely responsive, and we truly appreciate it when citizens are reaching out to us. So thank you again.
You're very welcome.
And if you could, just leave one of your business cards. I would like to connect you with Valerie Fuller, who is our communications manager, so that she can be able to blast out that information on some of our media outlets as well.
Absolutely. We'll certainly do that.
Chair, go ahead.
Well, I
Commissioner
was just gonna ask about the investment grants. Those will be for our citizens, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I do have a question. With so many affordable and older homes in Clayton County, and you all going from 5G to 10G, I don't know what type of network you're dealing with. How are you going to push that technology through, considering most of the homes here have copper? So what would Comcast's plan be?
So, and Jermichael may have some insights on that as well, but generally speaking, we bring the fiber technology in a lot of cases now to the premises, and then we plug in, but we probably do have some homes that have some old wiring. What does that look like, Jermichael?
Yes, sir. Hey, good evening, everyone. Jermichael Eaton, Comcast. Yeah, to your point, we kind of different from AT&T, so we can use their existing wires in most cases. If not, we'll rewire.
Right, but those existing wires, if you're going to an FTTP premise, it's almost like taking 100,000 gallons of water, and then when you get there, they only can accept 10 gallons at a time.
Yeah, so
I guess my question is, I'm not pushing either or talking about either ISPs, but for me, I believe that we've got to get a railroad footing on how our businesses are going to be able to accept a higher bandwidth as well as our residential.
So one element of that is a lot of our customer premises equipment, whether it's the modems or even a lot of our video boxes, are wireless now. And so if there is a home that has old wiring, then we can run, in many cases, if we can run a single outlet into the home, then we hook up our gateway to it, and then at that point, that gateway can support connectivity to the home. Even if you have to purchase an extender of some sort, you can do that, and then we do have wireless boxes that can provide some support. If we run into a situation where the home doesn't have a wiring to support it, but it's definitely a fair point.
Yeah, most of them are not. So, I don't want to make this a tech talk, but yeah, there'd be issues even with that type of model as well.
Chairman.
Yes.
With the Internet Essentials programs, are you all still coming into the schools? I know with COVID and things of that nature, are you all still passing out your literature like you used to do back in the day and making sure that the schools get a hold of that for the parents?
We absolutely are.
Okay.
Absolutely are. And one of the things that we've kind of had a little debate over is the schools, as a matter of expediency, in many cases, we're handing out those wireless hotspots, which is okay in an emergency, but really no substitute for that wired connectivity into the home, and you're not going to get the same speed and the same experience. So absolutely.
Okay. So, and I was going to say, we have a lot of parents that always say that they don't, the hotspot is out or they're having problems with the hotspot. So if we can try to get, push it a little bit more of the Internet Essentials, please do so.
Yes, ma'am, we certainly will.
I have something, yeah. Can you tell me the difference between Comcast and Xfinity?
So Comcast is the company, and Xfinity is the brand name of the residential services. So if you're an Xfinity customer, you're a Comcast customer, but you have Xfinity on your bill and Xfinity on your product. And by the same token, if you're a business, then Comcast Business is the trade name. So That's the difference. Marketing,
Marketing.
not my area of expertise, but that's the
The market
deal.
is not your area.
Well, we're all marketing to some degree, right?
I remember, I guess it was 3 or 4 years, if not longer, when y'all did the Internet Essentials. I think it was at Morrow High School, right?
We
Program.
did it.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember the name of there was a elementary school or middle school, I think, because I think we gave computers to, I want to say it was the 6th grade
Great
class
classes,
there.
I remember that.
So
a
my
Yes.
long
question
time
is,
ago.
and you might not be able to answer this, but I wonder what kind of impact that made to those kids, but you would have to follow them the years since they have gotten that. Because a lot of kids at that time did not have those laptops and so forth. So that did make a big impact, and I wonder if we followed them, how much it improved.
We have a few of those impact stories. We don't have any from those that cohort of students, but we do have a few of those impacts, and we do some survey work. And some of the things that we found is not totally surprising, but 98% of the survey respondents say that their kids are doing better in school, and so that just makes sense. I'm not shuffling to the McDonald's to try to get my homework done, or not dealing with some of those type struggles. But there's also a significant number of those families where a parent is leveraging that connectivity to continue their education, whether it's GED or doing online training or getting a degree themselves. So it really is, we all have rough days, right? But those are the kind of stories that make me feel good about the company I work for.
Absolutely, and we definitely appreciate all that Comcast Infinity is doing here in Clayton County. And just know, hey, we are here to work with you to make sure we get the word out, because anytime our businesses and citizens are doing well, then we are doing well as a county. So thank you for the presentation. Look for, if you could just leave your card there on the counter. Let's see, where's the officer? Give it to the officer right there. I'll
One-
make sure that
one
we
thing,
get you
but-
connected.
I'm sorry, before you leave, I didn't want him to leave. I think this board needs to know too, that Andy Mackey serves on the ATL Transit Link Authority, and he has represented well, and he's always in the corner of Clayton County when it's a benefit to the whole. So I just want to let them know that you wear 2 hats, working hard.
Well, we appreciate the continued support. And whatever
Absolutely.
hat you have for Clayton County.
You
Thank
got
sir.
it. Thank you.
Did
Take
you ever
care.
work with the state?
Pardon me?
Did you ever work with the state of Georgia?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
See
You
you,
have a
Andy.
great evening.
Take care.
All right, next up, First Responder Task Force, additional life insurance. Ms. Woods will make the presentation.
Good evening, board members. Okay. On behalf of the public safety employees, Human Resources is requesting the board support of the First Responders Task Force. Just to provide a little bit of background and summary of the Armed Force Benefits Association, it was established in 1974 in association with a 5-star life insurance. The lead product that they offer is a $5,000 death benefit for our public safety employees. Offered this, like I just said, offered offered free to our first responders, which includes our police, sheriff, even the civilian, the non-sworn personnel as well. The catalyst for the purpose is additional life insurance. They have a 5-star rated A by the AM Best company. Police and fire support this request. Human Resources vetting process consisted of our consultant Marsh and that should be McLennan agency. They actually did some research, and upon their research, there were no immediate concerns about validity of the organization. And John Fitzgerald will be our coordinator for Clayton County. Are there any questions?
I think we're going to have you a little more often. All right, are there any questions for Ms. Woods in reference to the supplemental insurance? Commissioner Hambrick.
Okay, now who does this include?
All public safety.
Sworn and unsworn.
Sworn and not sworn, and also reserve, those that may volunteer. Now, I would like to add as well
Those who
that
They volunteer for.
Like
It's-
reserve
Uh-huh.
officers.
I would like to add that it is a $5,000 death benefit for those in the line of duty. For it being not covered in the line of duty, it is a $2,000 payout amount.
Okay.
Well, you know, since you're saying non-sworn,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about some of our other employees that have hazardous jobs, that work on the roads and things. Has that been considered?
Well, this is a special benefit for public safety officials.
So would
Have y'all?
that include T&D? or-
No, this is
No.
first responders and public safety. Public safety being sheriff, PD, fire,
Corrections.
and corrections.
Corrections, okay, warden.
Like, for example, refuse, they're part of corrections, so they would be covered as a non-sworn.
No, I was just thinking about that, you know, the danger.
Yes, I
of
agree.
the jobs and all that.
Well,
Yes.
to her point, have y'all researched any other insurance like this one that would cover any other hazardous duty jobs
Right.
within our ranks?
Not to my knowledge.
I would like to see us do that. I mean,
Okay.
who's paying for this?
This
It's
is
free.
free.
First 5,000 is free. Now, where they make the money is, they have other products. So if I wanted to increase it to 10,000, then first 5,000 be free, and I'm assuming that the officer would only have to pay for that 5,000 additional.
Right, the officer would be responsible for it.
What?
First responder task. And this is with, I missed that part. Life insurance.
Armed Forces Benefit Administration,
Uh,
Association, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
So the question is,
Hold on a second, let me see if, did you get your answer?
Yes, but anyway, go.
Okay,
you
you
go
good.
ahead with
Commissioner,
that, I'm still thinking.
Franklin?
it would help if we had a button too. But at any rate, the question is this. So with the 5,000 being free and then the additional, is that going to be payroll deducted if somebody chooses to do it, or is it going to be totally on their own? How
It'll
are
be
you doing
totally
it?
on their own.
Okay, so I'm not quite sure why this is coming before us as a board, because the thing about it is they're giving it to them at no cost.
No cost to us, no cost to them.
Yeah, so okay.
Support.
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 Okay.
information, so we know what's going on, that they are getting additional
Right.
Okay.
life
Yes.
insurance.
Want to keep you all in the loop.
Exactly.
Gotcha. I think there needs to be a caveat, though, that this is support, but it's not sponsored, because there may be some questions there once they
Understood.
purchase the additional. That's the only thing I have. Other than that, it's a given.
Well, but now that you say that, how long has how long have they been in business? Do they have any kind of track record? I mean, I would hate to refer somebody to.
They got a 5-star rating.
Yeah, they do.
and
They've been
they
in
were
business since
acknowledged
1947,
as,
so.
Okay. I'm just
1970.
thinking.
Forty-
Best company.
1947.
Yeah, they thoroughly vetted the
Oh,
company.
it should be
I'm just
47.
thinking if somebody has a problem, who do they go to?
Yes.
Do they come to
The
us?
company, no, they go to
It
the company.
is.
Okay, I think we need to make that clear, since it sounds like we're pushing this.
I
So think
agree.
we need to make this clear.
And we need to be careful when we see 5-star rating. Who rated it? What is the rating? Because I could give a 5-star rating, and my rating doesn't mean anything. So, but other than that, I'm fine with the free.
Okay.
But I do think we need to be
Everything's free,
very
not
careful of that.
That's true, too.
With anything.
I mean, really,
Any other questions?
I haven't heard of them before.
All right, thank you for-
I do have a question. What information will we be providing them? Or are the employees going to sign up on their own?
Well, Mr. John Fitzgerald, he will actually be coming out to speak with employees, and he and I were actually going back and forth before the meeting started, and he said he was going to provide us some additional information that we can provide to our employees. That was one thing that we did request.
So what we're doing is giving him access to our employees is what you're asking us to bless you with. I don't know about this. And also your data, it says here as I'm researching it that it was founded in 1947.
Yeah, that's what
like
I
that.
said. It's an
This
error on
says
the-
74. This information's not accurate.
It's not.
Normally I would be okay with it, but I hate to say it. I'm gonna lean towards the other commissioner and say we need to do a little more research first and research it just a little bit more. Because if we're talking about somebody coming in selling something, I don't know about that. I don't know.
Well, it's only being sold if the officers want additional coverage. I don't see any harm with them wanting to accept $5,000 death benefit in the line of duty. I don't see that being an issue.
I have a question. Okay, your presentation to us, does that mean that that's the commissioner's okay?
Well, I think what Director Ambles wanted to was just keep you all in the loop, and she wanted you all support, honestly.
Well, that's what I mean,
And there are complaints on this company, too. I think we need to do our due diligence, and this information needs to be accurate.
Okay.
It's inaccurate based upon what I'm researching. On the Better Business Bureau site, there are some complaints on the Better Business Bureau site. So I'm going to go with Madam Vice Chair. I don't know if y'all ready to bring this before us.
That's not coming, will it have to come before us? I don't think.
If you're going to give them permission to come into the county, it does, because y'all put me in that predicament. I know for sure.
No, we allow folks coming to the county
I
and
want
talk
the
to our
money I have been
staff.
putting
It's
into the
operational
account
issue.
back.
We don't have to get board approval to deal in that respect.
My support is not there, based upon what I'm reading.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Woods? All right, thank you for the presentation, and yeah, we'll talk offline about the further vetting on it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Next up is Mentor Protege Program Central Services, Ms. Donna Stevenson. And Ms. Carol Rogers.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Vice Chairman, Commissioners. I just wanted to bring back a discussion that we had last month regarding the SLBE program, our annual review with you all. There was 3 initiatives that I wanted to execute based on our discussion last year. The first one was we're working with the Small Business Administration to develop a workshop and classes at no cost to our vendors. The second one is our Small Business Expo. We will have that later this fall in collaboration with various county stakeholders, including the Development Authority, Office of Economic Development, the Chamber, and the Water Authority. And finally, we are in the development of a Mentor Protege plan. So tonight, I am pleased to announce we are in the final stages of beginning the kickoff for the implementation of our Mentor program. So what I wanted to do today is bring some awareness to the program. Obviously, make you all aware of what we're doing moving forward. Also, this is an initiative that's a part of the SLBE ordinance, the Mentor Protege. It's a way for us to assist with enhancing contracts as far as opportunities for our small local businesses, and these are vendors that are certified with the county. And then also, last year, you all had a report presented to you from Clayton State and from the CREST. It was a strategic business report. Within that report, it also recommended the establishment of a mentor program under Central Services for the purpose of promoting the growth of the county's small businesses. So tonight, what I like to do is have our consultant, who is Donna Stevenson. She's with Prison Compliance Management. They also manage our SLBE part of our program as it deals with compliance, for the system. So I wanted to have her kind of give you a little background. I know we will make it quick, Chairman, to promote the growth and, for the county, but I certainly want to have you all have a chance to be aware of the program and any questions you may have in regards to it. So here's Ms. Donna Stevenson.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. And I want you all to know that Commissioner Anderson gave me 1 minute, but I'm going to ask 1 minute from each of you. If I could just that would give me 5 minutes. And Chairman Turner, I want to now personally thank you, because I had a chance to meet you over Zoom when we did the Economic Summit last May. So it's actually a pleasure to come before you all this evening, and I thank you for the time that we'll have this evening. So the Mentor Protege program is one that I'm really excited about the county embarking upon. It's one that we've had interest in bringing to clients before, but it takes leaders. willing to support such programs. And so we have customers throughout the country, and you are the first to accept our participation and partnership in that. So you all continue to lead, even though your program is young. You all are bold in your actions in terms of support for SOBEs. Next slide, please. So as Carol introduced, I'm Donna Stevenson, and I'm the President and CEO of Early Morning Software. And when we are speaking of doing business and elevating the outcomes for cities and counties and states as it relates to minority-owned business and woman-owned business, veteran-owned and small local businesses, I do business as PRISM Compliance Management. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, but Atlanta is now my second home because it's the home of my 2 children. And so I'm here very often, and will hopefully have a chance to become as familiar with you all as you are with Andy. Next slide, please. So the goals of our Mentor Protege program are to actually help build capacity for your SLBE firms. And so one of the key elements to that is understanding their developmental needs, which we will assess in this program. But it's also meant to give increased access to opportunities. So one of the things that we see in your county is that you have lots of opportunity to continue to expand and develop. You have projects coming down the pipe that will give opportunities for the SLBE businesses to participate. But that's not it. What we also want this program to do is to develop them to go and do business in other areas and partner with large firms such that they can continue to grow. So we also want to enhance their business competencies. Now, one of the things I learned early on in my days in business, and my information is accurate, I started our business in 1994, and our business is 28 years old now. And so I have quite a few lessons that I have learned, and we'll bring those to the small businesses. But my husband started our business, phenomenal technologist, not so great at business. So that complement of both being a technician and having business expertise in a business is usually what causes businesses to thrive. So bringing those competencies that will enhance your technicians, your plumbers, your HVAC, your drywall carpenters, and those kind of folks, balancing out the marketing and other aspects of business are key to helping their success. Next slide, please. So with that, this winter cohort will focus on construction firms first. And in that program, we're going to be bringing training to them. But it won't be just generic training. Through our application process, we will assess what their needs are and then create a customized training program that will address their developmental needs. So we anticipate, based on our history and experience, that some will need training in proposal development and bidding. Some will need it in shoring up their estimates, making sure that they can estimate jobs properly. Sales and marketing, certainly we all need that, right? We do great jobs, but sometimes we don't tell a great story behind the work we do. Back office functions like human resources, hiring, having the right benefits in place, and accounting. And then construction practices, as I mentioned. And then we want to bring professionals to the fold as well for those who may need bonding, especially in construction. That's critical. And many small businesses don't always understand how to leverage their assets to get bonding. So we'll help them with that, and also leadership development. Next slide, please. So what we seek is to ensure that the proteges come through the program. We're going to have an application process, which we've started some outreach with, and they will apply for the program. We will also have an application process for the mentors to participate. These mentors will come from your pre-qualified list of firms. So they're firms, not just anybody. These are firms that have already been vetted by the county that will in turn mentor the proteges that will be SOBE firms. We will give an orientation to the mentors that will establish the expectation of what we'd like to see be success in the program for them as well as the proteges. So with that assessment for each of the applicants, we will actually have a development plan. So each business will have a plan tailored to what their areas of improvement. We'll do a matchmaking with the pre-qualified contractors, and then once we do the matchmaking, we'll initiate training, but we'll monitor them for the 4 months that they participate in the program. Next slide, please. So this program, to ensure success, is going to be performance-based. We're not going to just make introductions and say, okay, yeah, match made in heaven. Been there, done that. I've been participants in mentor proteges, and the best meeting was the introduction, and then oftentimes nothing follows behind that. So we're going to have very intentional engagement, quarterly and monthly meetings with the mentors and the proteges to make sure that there's benefits are accruing to the proteges. The training that is provided will address their professional development, and then we'll provide a semi-annual and annual report to the SOB office and central services, and we will report back to you all on the success that we're having. And next slide, please. So why would we want you all to continue to be supportive of this? This, we hope, won't be our first cohort of proteges. It's because there's an economic benefit that can be derived from the Mentor Protege program. Because when your firms grow, they create jobs for the community. They create and inspire other businesses to come about. So in addition to the contract awards that may accrue from the county, they will have opportunities to win awards from neighboring counties as well. So we're talking about business growth here for the businesses that are SOBEs in the county. We also hope that it will inspire them to bring in apprentices so that our young people have opportunities to grow in construction. If there's one industry that had continued to work during the pandemic, it's construction. And those construction jobs pay well, thanks to the U.S. Department of Labor that establishes the well-paying wages that these can be afforded to these young apprentices. And then we hope to also measure the expansion of operations. So those are the kinds of success metrics that we want to bring back to you to show you that the Mentor Protege program is successful. Last slide, please. So our timeline is that this month in February, we will set up the program, get the applications ready. They will be an online application process. The application process will take place during the month of March, and then we will initiate the actual Mentor Protege program in April, and it will go through July. And with that, I'll open the floor for questions.
All right. Any questions from Ms. Stevens?
I have a question. Ms. Stevens, I wanted to ask you, I know you said you identify your proteges by application,
Yes.
By the application process, but what are you looking for as far as proteges? What type of businesses would you like to mentor besides some of the things that you mentioned?
So we're looking for businesses that are construction firms, and we're not really typecasting any kind of specific trade.
Okay.
They do need to be certified SOBEs, so that's the main criteria. But secondly, no, we're just looking for firms that are ready to be mentored. I will say, because we want a successful program, we're not looking for the person who may still be doing business out of their home and not know how to do an invoice. We want the mentors to be ready for a business that is at least ready to do business with the government. So we want there to be at least some success. We may have an opportunity as the program matures to bring in businesses, and if we do find that there's some like that, what we decided is that we can open the training for all SLBEs. So even if we identify a business that's not quite ready to be paired with a mentor, we'll allow them to at least attend the training such that they can also benefit from the trainings that the county will offer.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Commissioner Hamburg.
The businesses, I guess that would be considered mentors.
Your pre-qualified firms, yes.
Okay. How will you get them to be a part of this program? I mean, will it be some advantage for them, or?
Some of us just like to do things because it makes us feel good, and others have to be inspired. And I hope to actually inspire them with our words of accomplishment, because they have an opportunity to be to do business with the county. Some will be inspired because it's just a part of their culture to do business and to give back. And so some will want to be. Others may be, like I said, need some encouragement. So we intend to give out some awards to recognize businesses for their contributions and things of that nature. So for some, we hope they will see it as a benefit to their own business as well.
I don't know if this.
Yes, and Commissioner Hambrick, that was our concern as well, because the mentoring program is voluntary. You know, we cannot disqualify a potential vendor for not participating. So we did some surveys as we were bringing these firms on. We put it inside of the RFP as something the county was wanting to do. And we've had a lot of feedback from those mentors, those particular firms. Some of them already mentor in different other programs, so especially the A&E firms. So it's not a new concept for them, but it's a new concept for the county requesting that. So we have over 19 firms that are pre-qualified in our construction projects, and we have 19 firms in our A&E. And when Ms. Stevenson spoke about a cohort, that means the construction company, the construction is first, and then after that, we're gonna go to the A&E firms, and we've had feedback from them as well. So we've done surveys, but to your point, Commissioner, it is voluntary, but it is something that they're looking at participating with the county. We've made it very known that it's something, you know, an expectation.
Okay, well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was going to be my next question, and regarding, I guess, the A&E firm, because years ago, it was definitely a money thing for those firms to bring on. I think back then it was like minority businesses or whatever. They would get so much percentage or something from the government kind of thing. So is this something very similar to that, or?
So the government has gone away from programs like
okay.
that they would get some sort of money. But no, to Carol's credit, that her department has done the research, and we have gotten positive feedback. And maybe you can credit it to some of the culture that were stirred up over the last several years, that organizations are looking to participate in ways like this, to demonstrate that their organizations are supportive of small and diverse businesses. So we can leverage that wave that continues.
Okay, I want to thank you too, Carol, for working hard on this. I remember when I came on board, you know, you were one of the folk that was instrumental in trying to get some of these kind of programs going. So thank you. Thank you. And thank you for your presentation.
Yes.
Sure, thank
I also
you.
wanted to ask
Commissioner
you,
Anderson.
would you, like, community meetings and things like that, would you come out for things like that just to?
Oh, absolutely. So one of the things I failed to mention, and I'm glad you asked this question, is we're partnering with other departments as a part of the program, and even in the selection of the proteges. And we're going to leverage have the businesses benefit from activities that other departments are conducting, like Water Authority and Economic Development Authority. So we're going to it's going to be a very inclusive program, and I definitely think you'll see those, our program also benefit the other departments as well.
Thank you.
I have something else too. In order to qualify as a protege, can a person have been in business for a while but just can't seem to get their foot in the door or can't seem to get that jump.
To
Will
be
it
a protege?
The protege, right. Would this program be open for them, or it has to be a new program, new business?
No, absolutely. It does not have to be a new business. In fact, if there's a business that's a SOBE, I'm gonna keep saying that, because that's the first line in our qualification. If you are a certified SOBE with the county, that's where the qualification begins. And so, yes, if they have not done business with the government before, but they're a great, drywall finisher, hey, they become a great candidate. Yeah, absolutely.
Chairman?
Commissioner.
Yes, I love the program and concept, but we know a lot of these larger companies will bring you on to train you because of the whole prime sub that has gone on now within our contracts, which we know that's the driving force. One of the pieces that I look at here is that they're a small business. So if you said earlier, you want them to be established. So now you're asking for a small business to be established, come in and find a matchmaker. But is this a paid program or non-paid program?
So it's not a paid program, and when I say established, because we want success, even when a business certifies with the city, they usually are demonstrating that they have the ability to do business, and therefore they don't impose risk to the county. So that's what we're kind of saying, is that if we're going to try to matchmake small business with a larger firm, and I say a larger firm, I'm gonna say an experienced firm. My firm's not large, but I'm a national business and I'm very experienced, right? So what we're hoping to do is to bring a match that will allow that small business to be lifted up. And absolutely, it's our expectation, which is why I exposed the metrics that we're going to be monitoring against, is that we want to see business expansion. We want to see the size of projects that businesses go after, increase. So we want to see those types of metrics for the proteges.
And that's what I want to see as well. Another issue I have is that we keep saying small business, and I think in construction, small business is roughly 7.5 million for that, for revenue?
Are you going by the small business standards?
Correct.
So for our SLBE program is based on the SBA, the Small Business Administration. So for construction, I think it's 40 million.
Is it 40 now?
Yeah, it's
Okay, 'cause I know that
35 million. It's a
Okay,
huge
it was
number.
30, yes.
Right.
Okay, so the question becomes, what I'm seeing is that, love it, we have to begin to do this to begin to push our small businesses to begin to become primes.
Yes.
If I'm a non-minority, I can start a business today, and I can go after a prime contract Monday morning. But if I'm a minority business, I start a business today, I got to go get certified, then I've got to jump through some other hoops to get here, and I just want to make sure that this protege program is not another non-paying hoop that minorities have to jump through to get to us.
So, as God is my witness, I would not stand before you and offer you that. I am a prime, and I've grown my business nationally. And that's the expectation that I want to see for any minority-owned business, that who chooses to go in business, not to be a consultant, living out of my house and working for someone else. We want to see business growth, and that's what I stand for. And that's what I stand for every leader that I come before. So you all can count on that.
And that's what I say. We want growth,
Yes.
but we want to open up access
Absolutely.
to these businesses.
Absolutely.
And to me, that's one of the key things. And I think Carol and I, we've had long talks about this. And
I'm
me,
glad
we've
to
got
hear it,
begin to
Commissioner
look
Davis.
internally to begin to change some of our bonding issues and
Yep.
some of our bid requirements to where these folks can go after
Absolutely.
these businesses on a fair and equal playing field, which I still believe and will say openly that we do not have.
So although I'm warm and I won't take off my jacket, but I could tell you every story over the 28 years I've been in business. I have the scars that I cover up every day. And my father was a construction. He owned his own construction business, and I worked for him. So I know the experience that contractors even experience today, which is why I advocate, because there's a lot that has gone on and has not facilitated change. And I intend to help the county because of the support of your leadership and the support that Chairman Turner exhibited, that we will not have that type of program for this county.
Thank you.
And I look forward to earning your confidence that we can get more cohorts. That's what I'm here to do, is earn your confidence and approval for the next cohort. Thank you.
Yeah, what will we consider, or what will you consider success or a successful program?
So some of the measures that I described on the last slide, and I'm sure, hopefully, we've given you a presentation, but on that last slide that says economic, I'm sorry, one before that, right there. What we want to see is the SOBE businesses get, if not initially, business with their mentor. So that's number one, is business with the mentor and or business with a mentor, because that mentor may not win a project with the county. But though they proteges, we want all of them to be ready to participate in a project that the county may have going forward. But we're going to bring forward other partners because they may have construction projects going on as well. So we want to position them to even go out after additional projects outside of the county. I tell folks all the time, certification is one thing. And I also ask my leaders, never tell a minority-owned business. Y'all going to be sorry because you got me on the soapbox now. You will realize, and I told someone this just Sunday, because the commissioner said that the business had to be certified in order to do business with her city. That is the most incorrect statement that you could make to a minority-owned business. Minority-owned business programs are meant to elevate our businesses, but they're not meant to make our businesses. And that's why the 8A program is limited. They cut it off. So it's an expectation that you do something while you're in their certification program. So yes, I'm saying I grew my business because I leveraged becoming a certified minority-owned business. But I don't lead with that. And so we should not say to any business that you must be certified. The certification should be an element of your business. It's a tool that you can use because a city sets a goal to participate. Your city doesn't set a minority business goal. So getting minority business certified would not matter here. But in my city, in Baltimore, it helped me get my first contract. And I always told my businesses that I speak to that you should always be aspiring to be the prime. Always be aspiring to be the prime.
Okay.
Big words.
You have something, Commissioner?
I do. First of all, I want to commend you, and I commend Director Rogers on your efforts, because I know this is something been near and dear to your heart, and I've actually participated in those classes, so I'm glad to have you come with that wealth of knowledge. I want to begin where you left off with the fact that the county does not have a specific requirement. And I think that's something as policymakers we have to look at, because I don't know if this board is aware, but particularly in the use of federal dollars in those areas, there is a percentage that is the minimum requirement, and we need to at minimum adopt that by this board immediately. And we need to go above and beyond that minimum. So that's the first thing I want to mention. And then secondly, as one that was a previous SLBE certified business owner with the county, I like the fact that you stated that it's not a requirement, but at the same token, it's to elevate So I think that the board, as a board, we really need to understand the efforts that Ms. Rogers is putting forth.
Absolutely.
Because it's up to us to set those policies. It's not up to Ms. Rogers to set those policies. We have to set those policies. And I'm looking forward to us not just doing this effort in isolation, but I'm looking for you all to continue to work with the Comcast RISE program, to work with the Small Business Association that operates through UGA and through Clayton State University, because Clayton County does offer a lot, but we tend to do it in silos. And I got to commend you once again, because you were one of the ones, and the Water Authority, who said, you know what, if you're certified on one end, that's good enough for our end. So that's a start, and this is one more step in the right direction. So hopefully you can, give us a recommendation that we can put it on this agenda and vote on it and move forward, so we can
I'd be
meet
happy
what's
to work
expected.
with you all on that. Absolutely.
And help those
It is a game changer.
It really is.
It is a game changer, and I can tell the story because I am the story. I mean, I started my business with my husband with $5,000, and I'm a national business now. So, and it does not come without effort, but it comes from support with leaders like you.
And one other point before you go, what's imperative and what's so important about what you stated tonight is the fact that we know that this money is coming for infrastructure.
Yes.
And this infrastructure is coming to Clayton County. If we don't continue to support something like this and get it up and ramped and running quickly, then what we're going to have is all of that investment level coming to our county and nobody within our county benefiting from it, or very few people
So you all have been so gracious. I'm telling you, I could be here all night.
We're not trying to do
But
that.
I know you're not. But I'm going to give you one more thing to look up, if you will do this for me, since you mentioned it.
No, you're welcome to. This is
I'm going to
important work.
respond. Executive Order 13985. Are you familiar with it?
13985,
If you're not,
yes.
it is. This is your ticket, because it states that, this is executive order from President Biden, that any entity that is federally funded must have minority program. They
right.
must be inclusive of minority and women-owned businesses. This is unprecedented executive order. So your ARPA money, your Invest
Has a
America
requirement.
money that is coming with strings attached.
That was my
And
point.
if you don't leverage it, you will miss an opportunity to transform your community.
That was the bill that was passed, 2 weeks ago?
No, this
No.
was as soon as he came in office.
This has been over a
January.
year. Yes.
I say we have to be
January
very
20th of
careful
2021 it was
about,
passed.
thank you.
Yes.
We have to be very careful about looking at federal limits and federal mandates and that they have set forth, because if we begin to look at our construction projects here in Georgia for the state, minorities gain less than 2%.
Please
But we
recommend
are-
that
we-
they
but-
call me,
but
because
we
I can
are
fix
with-
that. I just
but we
fixed
are
it in,
with
I just
federal
fixed it in
guidelines.
Pennsylvania. Look, a press release came out 3
It did.
weeks ago. Governor Wolf espousing the change that they've had. It's because they use our services. I'm telling you, I'll be here all night, but
Yes.
I
Well,
have
listen,
stamina.
yes, ma'am,
And
go
just
ahead.
one part about the MWBE program. Part of what our last month was about that disparity study.
That's right.
The SLBE program does not need a disparity study, so we can run that program without any issue. We can do goal-based, we can do goal setting. When we get into having a program that is race or gender, which is minority MWBEs, you have to have that disparity study. So I know that the school board, for instance, did a request for information last year about doing a disparity study. I've spoken with the Water Authority and with the school board, and our thought was a disparity study cost can be anywhere from $300,000 to $400,000. So the thought was that we could do something regional, and then each entity pays for, because they have to examine your contracts to see if you're utilizing. And each entity would pay for their own examination and analysis of their contracts, but together, while they look at the data for Clayton County, because it's all the same, right? Then there's a cost that we all can bear. So it's something certainly I'm putting in my budget, so just FYI. But it is something that we have done, and we're also, the COO, we're part of a task order commission now with the Chamber, the Water Authority, with UGA, the Small Business hub there, and Economic Development Authority. So we are moving toward that. Even the library not even, but the library also, because we're all doing similar things. And we need to be able to collaborate and not have this, everybody's having the same workshop, right? We just need one workshop, right, on this focus. And then somebody else does something differently. So we are taking heed to what you all are requesting, but I just wanted to give that little tidbit about the MWBE studies.
Very
Carol,
important.
did we do a disparity study years ago? Is this the same kind?
Yes, ma'am, we did it, and it's only good, it's 10 years. So we did it, I think, in 2008 perhaps.
Well, no, it had to, I was on board.
Yes, ma'am. So it was 2008 to 2009. So we do, and it would be easier now because we do have an ERP system. Before we had to go through boxes of contracts and invoices. So we have the technology now that it'd be a lot easier as it prior to what we did in 2008.
Nine.
And
Yes,
listen, a lot of work and forethought has gone into this, and I'm absolutely delighted about where we're going. Thank you for the work that you are going to be doing here in Clayton County, Carol. Keep up the good work.
We're not.
We all know that the small business is the backbone of our county, and as we strengthen them, we come stronger as a county. So thank you again for all y'all do.
Thank you for your
Ms.
time.
Rogers, please don't leave yet, okay? Go back to what you just stated. The ARC is who we're working with the LCI grant. There may be grant opportunities out there, so please check with the ARC, get involved in that process. And then also, I have requested in the past for our COO to connect with the folks through the region, the Atlanta Regional Transit Region, because of the fact that they could also help us through some of those processes to find those grants. It's not just isolated, so we don't have to look at shouldering all of that ourselves. I think we need to move in that direction along with these other efforts quickly as possible.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers. Mr. Reed, new maps for commission districts.
Good evening. Patrick, Director GK, and I are going to finish up. I guess we'll do our part 2 of our presentation on redistricting. I guess tag teaming without the sprinkles. All right, so why adopt new maps? I'm going to real quick overview of what we did before. 10-year required redistricting. You have to do it every 10 years, required of all levels of government. Of course, we gained citizens based on our 2020 census. The goal of the maps, of course, is to have as close to equal population in each district as possible. According to the 2020 census, the ideal district size is 74,399 residents. Again, this is the state law that talks about state reapportionment. At our last work session, those maps had concerns that were raised by Commissioners Hambrick and Davis. And so we met with the state reapportionment office on the 14th to talk about the maps. The proposed demographics of the map, again, this is based on that from January 14th. Then the ideal district size is 74,399. If you look at the numbers there, you've got the least is 42 less than that ideal. The most is 71. If I compare that to the map from December 8th, I can't see it, that December 8th, 2021, this is from the previous maps that we had. You remember that's the same number. We had between 600 people fewer than that ideal number and more than 400 higher than that ideal number. So this second set of maps is much, much closer to having an ideal number of residents in each commissioner district than the previous maps. So I'm going to, with that, turn it over to Director Ajike to talk more in detail about those maps.
Commissioners, good evening, Chair. This is just a synopsis of what the deviation shows in terms of the redistricting. The district lines you are seeing is as a result of that second meeting of the two commissioners with the state. So District 1 to 2 what District 1, if you look at District 1, that little sliver over there, that part of it that will go into 2, it's BC Henny as elementary school, and there is 154 parcels involved in that exchange. When you look at District 2 to District 4, in that corner, the blue that jots into the purple, it's what District 2 will be losing. It is 371 parcels. District 3 to 2, the green of District 2 that's now inside the boundary of the blue line of District 2. So that 3 to 2 is 400 parcels, Magnolia Ridge Apartment and Vineyard Point Apartment. Lastly, District 4 will be losing 2 District 3, 1,614 parcels, but most of this is in the city of Lovejoy, east of 1941. So this just is an synopsis of what led to the better deviation, and this is the latest boundary lines.
With that, again, the expectation is that the board will consider these maps at your next board meeting. If passed, we'll do the advertisement in a local paper, and it goes to the General Assembly for approval. And again, just to remind you of the timeline that the governor wanted all maps passed before February 18th. And so I think I'm less than 5 minutes, but I'm open for any questions.
Bragging rights today, huh? All right, anybody have any questions for Mr. Reed or Mr. Njiki?
I do.
Commissioner Franklin.
Other than the area around the difference between District 2 and 3, I really don't comprehend the changes within District 3, because this is the deal. As we looked at the data originally, we knew that there were areas that had more density and more populace of people. I get that. But what I don't understand is the shift, because if District 3 is going to lose 400 folks, that's fine. But what is the purpose of shifting further across to gain 1,614? It's not as big of a deal for me to be able for us to move forward, but I will say this. Again, District 2, talked to Commissioner Hambrick, have no concern about it at all, but there seems to be absolutely no logic at all for it to shift all the way over when previously 1941 seemed to be a rational divide. But now you're going to go in and add that whole portion in. So you're going to lose some, but you're going to add a bunch. That doesn't compute for me. And I sent an email on that too.
It doesn't shift over. It goes down 85. It stays on the right side of Highway 85. It does not shift over to 1941.
Not that portion, Madam Vice Chair. I'm talking about down at the lower part where 1941, if you see the purple.
So you're talking about 3 and 4, not 2 then?
That's what I said, I'm fine with 2.
Oh, okay.
That was my first statement,
okay.
was because you and I discussed we needed to clarify that area, because there was problems in that area to where there were both names showing up even on some of the ballots. But it does not seem rational in any capacity for the change to where now you're going to shift all the way over to pick up the city. I mean, I think that it needs to be clearer in that. That's the only portion I have issue with.
And I could be wrong. 10 years ago, when we did, I think when Commissioner Wole Ralph was on there, I think Lovejoy was in District 3 at that time, was it not?
But that.
Nobody remembers, okay.
But let me go
I'm
to
just making a point of observation.
If I could go to this. Historically, I have no issue with anything that was done previously. The whole point of this redistricting map, as you just stated, is to make sure that it's divided pretty much equally between the districts. That's clear. But you're looking at, as we go back to the numbers, if you don't mind, the original numbers. And do you see the deviations? No, there was another slide you gave us that had the number the growth, the original growth from each district? Do you have that slide by chance?
The,
It may not
how
be in
many
this
was, in
presentation.
each, it was in each district, you're saying?
Originally, what was originally presented by the state to us.
Yes, that's this one here.
Okay,
The,
wonderful.
so this is what, the one on the right-hand side, those show, it looks like in District 3, you, that was gonna, under that previous map, you were gonna gain 400 people from the ideal. It would be 400 more than the ideal. In this most recent map, you end up actually being 40 less than what the ideal number would be.
Okay. And then looking at the map itself, where the divide is what I'm looking at. Go back there.
Yes.
Who changed it from the original to here, and why? What was sent over? The first part, 2 is fine, but how did this get changed at the bottom other than what was sent to us from the state?
From the state. It was the meeting that we all had.
No, that wasn't part of the
The
state
meeting
map.
we had with Commissioner Hambrick, myself, Mr. Reed, and who was it from the state?
I can't recall her name now, but it was someone with this, with the State Reapportionment Office.
Correct. And discussing logical lines of what could take place here.
Okay, and so the state presented one thing. So I understand, again, I spoke with Commissioner Hambrick about 2. What facilitated the change from the state in the bottom half? Who or what facilitated that change?
The discussion with the 4 of us.
Okay.
So why did it have to affect District 1? So tell me, what was the purpose of that?
So the state, just to kind of go through what the, how that process worked, they were pulling and moving and shifting boundaries, and as they did that, it would show what the impact would be. If without that portion in 1, it still had more people, I believe, in 2, and then 1. It would have created a larger proportion in 2 from the ideal size than it would have been in 1. So 2 and 1 had a bigger spread. And so when she pulled that over at that area, it kind of made both districts closer to having that ideal number of 74,399.
Plus, Chuck, the question that Commissioner Anderson has, that is that old Dixie area, which is really in 2 anyway.
Yeah, okay.
And in service and in Ole and all. So it was just a matter of, when she clicked on whatever area, the numbers just automatically pulled up. And when she clicked on that, we was like, okay, we thought that was District 2 anyway. So, and it's been serviced by
Yeah, I
2.
know,
So.
but I knew it was
The
one.
only thing I have to say about it is what has happened is what's been confirmed, as you sent an email. Again, I've spoken to Commissioner Hambrick, but you have one commissioner on this board that's affecting the change of other districts without any level of discussion, but wanting the board to approve it. That doesn't make any logical sense. That's my only concern. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna serve all the citizens of Clayton County. But that needs to be on record. So when we talk about the 4 people in the room, it did not include this entire board. And we discussed that during that meeting that day, that all of us needed to be included because it would affect other areas. So we were not included in that. I was not. So we got a sitting commissioner who's getting ready to run for reelection, being able to invoke a change on another district without involvement of that commissioner. And that doesn't make sense.
Let me say this, hold on a second, Mr. Davis. Wasn't all the commissioners invited to speak to the
We
the
could
state
not-
lady?
Yeah, so after that December 14th meeting, I sent out an email with this change to the entire board, asking if there were any concerns with any of these changes to let me know so that I could reach out to the State Reapportionment Office so that you all could exercise the same level of input to the maps. And as of today's date, I did not get any
I
response.
sent you an email, sir. I'm so sorry.
Okay, but I
did.
needed to get some dates so that I could reach out to the reapportionment office to make sure that those concerns were addressed prior to today's work session.
And once again, not to go back, number one, I sent the email. Number two, I did specifically ask for that in a meeting. But for the sake of us not being held up, because we need to move forward so that we could go ahead and get this over to our office so that they can make the changes, I'm going to move forward with it. But it is once again going on record that the change is being made, that one district is cutting out almost 2,000 folks without any logical sense. And that's it.
Commissioner Davis. Did you have something? Okay. Well, listen, the only thing I like about the maps are that the population is zoned much better, or district much better, to be more equal in the number. And I think that was the goal of the redistricting committee, or the people at the state. Again, I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm countywide, but at the same time, I think it should be equally divided up as much as possible. But do you have anything else for us?
No. As it stands now, it'll go before the board on Tuesday for a vote, and then we will go ahead and start the advertisement process so we can get this over to the state for final readoption or adoption by the General Assembly.
All right, thank you for your presentation, Mr. Ejiki and Mr. Reed. All right, I see no other business before the board. We stand adjourned.